Don't worry, this is coffee, not Coke. Hello friends, it's David Tran. Welcome back to the channel. Today is day number 13 of my 30 days of Swift challenge. We are almost halfway through the challenge so far. So if you are new to the community, 30 days of Swift challenge is a challenge where I challenge myself to create a new iOS app or feature of an app and then I will document this journey by creating video tutorials, step-by-step tutorial to share with you this journey on how to build that app or how to build that feature of the app. Today we are going to build a photo grid app using CollectionView. Now this UI, you pretty much see it everywhere, right? It's in the Photos app of Apple, and this app particularly that I'm building today, it has the section header of each of the different sections as well. So this is, I think, it's a great opportunity for me to share with you how to build apps using CollectionView. Now, if you look at most of the apps in iOS that has things like a grid of things or a list of things, that pretty much will very much likely is CollectionView, UICollectionView. It's everywhere. So if you want to follow along with me on this demo to build this app step by step with me, then just click the link right below in the description, right there, below there. In the description, there I prepare for you the resources, all the images, all the source code and the starter file and the model classes that can save us some time in the demo. If you want to follow along with me, just click the link below. Then you go to my blog, just enter your name and email to create profile, and then I will send you the resources for free. So let's go into the demo. Save us some time. I prepare a model class that models the photo.swift for us. So inside this class, we have a struct called photo category. Each of the category will be the category name, the title, the image name, and a bunch of image names. So next up is a photos library. Inside this class, we'll fetch the photos, and then it will return for us an array of photo category. You don't actually need to see the kind of like the inside implementation of this, because later on when you implement your own model, then maybe you have your own implementation. If you want to model mine, that's okay, okay? So this is the final project. Each of this will be a category, right? This will be the family category, the title will be family, the image names will be something like F1, F2, F3, okay? And then if you scroll way down below, we have the download photos data. Those, I just try to kind of like mimic the nature of if you call an API, then that will very much likely return for you JSON data. And then JSON, you can turn that into Swift dictionary, okay? And these are just private methods. All right, so that is the starter project, and then we'll have a bunch of images here for you to use. We'll have that right directly inside the image names here that we can use. So please download the starter project now if you want to follow along with my tutorial for this challenge. Here we go. So I'm going to the main.storyboard. We want to design this UI using CollectionView. Number one, let's delete this guy. Put this on the right so we can see it. Okay. Here we go. So first thing first, let's drag out a CollectionView controller like this. We need a CollectionView controller, not a CollectionView, okay? So then this guy right here, I'm going to hit the embed in button and we use a navigation controller. Then let's click into this navigation controller, make it an initial view controller like that. All right, and then if you like to change the navigation bar here, what you can do is if you want to have this kind of like different color, you can change the bar, translucent, that's nice. You can change the bar tint, you can change the tint, you can change the title font or the title color into like white color, right? So if you want here, we have Wally and then it will be white, all right? So next, let's configure this CollectionView. So this is a CollectionView controller. Its root view is the CollectionView.
Just like when you go into a table view, the root view of a table view is going to be, it's going to be a table view, right? The root view of the table view controller is a table view. So let's click here, goes into the size inspector. And then I want to change the cell size into 200 by 200. Now this is going to be pretty much likely just simulator size. Later on, if you want to, I will change the view as 8 plus, so we have some space here. Later on, if you want to have, we want to have 3 items per row, that will have to do it in code. We cannot do that in the storyboard like this, all right? So the header size, you can change the header size to something like 50 by 50, okay? So we have this header size. Later on, we'll use that. Right now, we don't need it. Then let's change the mean spacing for cells here. You see that we want to have this little line right here, right? If you do it 10, that will be too much. I just want to use 1. For cells, that will be the space between each of the cell. For line, that will be the space between each of the row, all right? The section inset, I will just leave it right there. We don't need anything else, and the rest, we'll do it just like that. Okay, so next up, let's change our, let me see over here. The layout is flow, that's good, and then scroll direction is vertical. Alright, so everything is good. Next up, let's drag out an image for this guy. You see, we have an image. So let's go here, find an image, drag this thing to the screen, and then we'll drag all the corners. Let's change that into something like F1, right? And then scale aspect fill. Then we also want to clip to bounds to make sure that it doesn't go outside of the bounds. Then click this image. I want to use auto layout, 0 left, right bottom, add the for constraint, just like that. Cool. All right. So next up, now this is pretty straightforward, right? All right. So next up, I want to create a custom class for this cell because we are using a custom cell now. So right click over the view folder and then have a new file, script file. Let's call this guy photo collection view cell, like that. You can call that photo cell, anything. That's okay. I just want to be descriptive here. So let's change the import here into UIKit. Then we'll have a class called photo collection view cell. That, guess what does it subclass? What was subclass? UI collection view cell. Right, correct. Now in table view we have table views, UI table view cell, right? So here, UI collection view cell. So inside this, let's have an IB outlet with var for our photo image view is UI image view, right? Now this image, all we need is a name for the image. Just because I'm using local image here, and that is the way that we want to simplify the project, so that I want to make sure that we just focus on collection view. Later on, if you want to implement like some data source from somewhere else, from the internet, things like that, just change your data source, okay? So the image view, image name here, when it gets set, I'm going to change photo image view dot image to be UI image with the name of the image name. Image name. Just like that. Pretty straightforward, right? All we have to do now is go to main.storyboard, change this class right here, the custom class. Let's change that into photo collection view cell. I will also change the identifier into photo collection view cell, so later on we will not forget about that. Cool. So next up, we need a view controller for this guy. But before we do that, let's run it and see how it looks like. Okay. Make sure that we have this navigation controller be the initial view controller. So we run. We have this. Nothing showing. That's good because we haven't implemented any data source method yet, right? So let's close this guy, go back into my project here so you have a better sense of where we are heading to. Right click into the controller, and then we have a new file. Let's use Swift file here, and let's use Photos CollectionView Controller, and then we'll create that right there in the controller. So let's import UIKit. We have a class called Photos CollectionView Controller is UICollectionView Controller. Is subclass UICollectionView Controller, right? So inside here, inside this method, there are a few things that we want to create. Number one is we want to create the data model, right? What are the data? What is the data that we want to represent? Well, I want to represent a photo category just right now. So that is going to be photos library dot fetch photos, and that will return for us an array of photo libraries, okay? Photo categories. So I want to use just the first one, just like this iteration of the app. Then, because I know that we're going to use a lot of string identifier, so I'm going to have a struct called storyboard here, and then we'll store a bunch of identifiers inside this. So the photo cell, let's use the photo collection view cell identifier right here. Then let's use, later on, let's say we want to have a static. Okay, just store it right there, all right? So next up, we want to implement our CollectionView data source. So right here, let's have a mark called UICollectionView data source. And this guy will have the number of sections will return 1 just right now. And remember that because we are subclassing UICollectionView controller, then we'll need to override, okay? Because inside this subclass, it already overridden. Then next up is the number of items in the section. Here I'm going to return the photo category dot image names dot counts. So we want to have the number of items is going to be the number of images inside this photo category. Then finally, we have the cell for item at index path method. Okay, so if you remember in table view, we have number of sections in table view, number of rows in section, and then here number of cells in section, and then cell for number of rows in section. Yep, and then we have number cell for item at index path is collection view. Then in table view, we have cell for row at index path, right? So pretty much the design pattern here is really the same. Item will interchange for row. So here, let's have the cell will be collection view. We'll also dequeue a reusable cell with identifier. I'm going to use storyboard.photo cell for the index path, and we'll cache this as a photo collection view cell. Collection view cell, right? And because we need an image name, so let's have image name to be the photo category / images at index path dot section. Oh, because we only have one section, so image index path dot item, like that. Okay, then we're going to have cell dot image name will be image name. We return the cell, and just like that, right? So now all we have to do now, return the cell. All we have to do now is go back into main.storyboard, change this class right here into the photos collection view controller, run the project, and hopefully this time when you run it, Oh, it crashed. Why is it? So this photo image view, oh, all right. So we haven't connected the IB outlet for this guy yet. Go back into main storyboard. We have the view collection view, right click here for the cell. And then we have the photo image view. Here we go. And then let's run it. Okay, so looking good. I mean, like we have a bunch of items in rows, right? Okay, that's progress. Admit that. Okay. Next thing is we want to have 3 rows per item. 3 items per row, right? So how can we do that? To do that, we are going to use, let me open this up here. To have like 3 items here per row, we're going to use the CollectionView layout object. So in CollectionView, the reason why it is different from TableView is that it's the same in terms of it has a data source, it has a delegate, but also has a different object that will determines how each of the cell will lay out. That is the reason why you have this CollectionView. It will be a grid of 3 rows, 3 items per row like that, right? So let me try to see another example. Like the Photos app, this also is a collection view, right? And it can have really small items like that. Also a collection view. In the album, maybe this will also be a collection view right here. You see that? The For You tab in like the news here is really a collection view, because it's, you see, like here, don't allow. We have a bunch of these things that looks like a table view, but because this is embedded in like this right here is a collection view, right? And then we have another episode in interests here. This we also use a collection view. You see, the reason why we have really kind of like flexible UI user experience is because we have a different layout object that would determine whether the layout of the collection view will be. So let's do this. In view.load of this guy, view.load, we'll do a super view.load. And then I'm going to get the collection view width. Let's have the collection view width. It will be collection view dot frame dot width. If you do bounds.width, that's okay. Okay. And then let's do item width. We want to determine what is the width of each of the item. Before we do that, we want to have like what is the left and right paddings of this guy. We want to have a CG float. Let's do 2 points, right? The left padding and the right padding of each of the cell. Then let's have static let number of items per row. That would be a CG float of 3. Okay, so we have 3 rows, 3 items per row, and the padding each of these items is 2 points. All right, so the reason why it's 2, not 1, because I tried 1 and that is too small. So the item width here, let's shine the collection view width, all right, minus the storyboard dot left and right paddings, and then we divide it by the storyboard dot number of items per row. Okay. Oh, I made a mistake. So left and right paddings will be 2 because we have 2 spaces between 3 items. So the space between each item will be really 1. Okay. So here, let's the layout. We'll get the layout object layout to be collection view layout. We cast that as a UI collection view flow layout. Now, this is the default layout object, the collection view flow layout. Later on in other episodes, maybe we'll have an episode that I will share with you how to kind of like subclass the collection view layout to create your own concrete class of collection view layout. And then you can have really fancy things like animation. You can drag and drop around the items. Really cool. So next up, we'll change the layout.item size to be CG size, with the width is item width and height is still item width, because we want to have a square item. So let's run it and see how it looks like. Here we go. So it works. Hooray. Alright, so that's good. Next up, let's try and have multiple sections inside this collection view. So to do multiple sections, all we have to do now is, instead of having just one photo category, let's have photo categories. And then instead of just using one like this, we'll have a bunch of photos category, right? And then number of sections, instead of just one, we'll do .count. Next, the collection view, instead of we use the image names.count, we are going to need to access the photo categories at section at index path.section image names.count. Okay, now this can be really confusing over here. Oh, this is section, just section. So here is what it looks like. Each of the photo category will be a section. So here we have multiple sections. We access that section. Each of that section has multiple image names. Then we'll return the count, so that each of that section will have the number of items, right? Then here, instead of having the image names immediately like this, we're going to have, let the category be photo categories at index path.section. Then we'll do the image name will be the category dot image names at the index path dot item. Okay, so the image name is still the same. Now when you run it now, and hopefully we have multiple sections. Pretty cool, really awesome. Yeah, all right, so we have multiple sections. Next up is we want to do something like this. Each of the section, we want to be able to have the custom section design, right? We have, this is food, travel, we even have an icon, we have family, nature. How can we do that? Well, if you remember in main storyboard, I kind of like moved too fast over there. We have a section here. This is a view called Collection Reusable View. So what you can do here is you can drag an image over there. Let's change that into like 32 by 32. And then we have 16x and 16y. Okay, maybe just 8. So I will put it right into the middle. Like that. Let me check and see what is the size of this guy. So yeah, this section here we want to have this will be 50 points height. So this image 32, that's good. Let's just leave it right there. Then let's use auto layout and check the constraints to margin, width and height, top, left and bottom. Add the constraints, that's good. Next up, we want to have this label, right? So let's have a label. Show object library. Let's have a label. Drag this label to the screen. Now this is not black. That is going to be kind of like grayish. So I'm going to change the text color into like dark gray color. And then let's use this to be something like family. Okay. And then let's drag this thing over here. Let's change the system font into medium. Okay, so let's use bold. Alright. So let's use, I don't think that this is good enough. So let me change this over here into like 60%. Oh, this 60 is a lot, so 70. Alright. Next up, let's use auto layout. Constraint to margin, just like this. That would be simple enough. Alright. Alright. So that is just the design in storyboard. You can change that into like category, image name, travel. Yeah, travel. Something like that. Then here we want to use aspect fit. All right. So this is pretty much like a view, a reusable view, just like a cell. So to kind of like dynamically create this, you need a custom class for that. Right click over the view, have a Swift file. Let's call this guy section header view. Like this, section header view. Here we import UIKit. Let's have a class called section header view. And that is going to subclass UICollectionView reusable UICollectionView did I make a mistake? Yeah, that is UI collection reusable view. Not, we don't have like UI collection view reusable view, guys. So just UI collection reusable view. Here we have IBLets wigvar for the category title label. Is UI label. We have another one is the category image name, image view, UI image view, like this, right? And then here we just want to display a photo category, and that is a photo category like that, right? So when this guy gets set, very simple, we'll do category title label dot image view. Okay, so image is UI image with the name of the photo category dot category image named. Then finally we do category title label dot text is the photo category dot title, right? Then now we'll need to go into this guy right here, set the custom class to be section header view. Then I will also change the identifier into section header view. Then you need to connect the IBLet image view over here, label title label, like that. So pretty straightforward, just like when you did with the cells. Now let's go into the controller. In storyboard here, we just have a new cell. So let's have another static. Let the header view will be this guy, section header view. Okay, the identifier. So inside this, we want to implement one new method, and that will tell the data source what is the header view will be like, right? So maybe you will be inclined to call something like CollectionView reusable cell, or like header, section header, something that would be cool. But here it's actually view, CollectionView, and then that is view for view for supplementary. All right, that is a mouthful right there. So that is CollectionView, view for supplementary element of kind, and it has the kind here. All right, so this over here we have let the section header view is CollectionView. Now we need to not reusable cell but reusable supplementary view. All right, then here of kind will pass in the kind. Then the reuse identifier is storyboard dot header view. For the index path, we pass in index path. We cast that as section header view, right? Then we get the category is photo categories at the index path dot section. Finally, we do section header view dot photo category is category, and we'll return the section header view. Then now you can run it and see how it looks like. Hopefully it has the same effect as this one. Here we go. So we have each of this as the section header. It looks really nice. All right, good job. Okay, awesome. So now what we want to do next is when we click into each of the cell like this, we want to be able to see the full size photo, right? How can we do that? Well, that I think is really straightforward for you. Now you can guess if you are familiar with table view. Is we will drag out a view controller over here, right? So a view controller like this. And then instead of dragging directly from this, because our data source is a little bit different, I'm going to drag from the view controller, having a manual segue, and that is a show segue here. And notice the back button here, the tint color is kind of like the default blue. Going to navigation controller. Let's change the tint color into white. And then, bar tint. It should change to white in code, I guess. All right, so here. All right, so I click over here and then it will render a new one. So next, let's have an image view. Image, drag this thing to the screen like that. Now, right now, I'm going to implement just like the raw version, really simple version of this. In other episodes, we'll have one. Okay, let me just like add constraints. And then we'll have F1, aspect fill, and then remember that we'll need to click to bounce, okay? So in another episode, we'll have one that will show you to do this effect right here, image scroller, okay? And then you can scroll up and down like that, all right? So we'll have directly from that guy, and then we'll have scrolling really cool like that, but that is another topic. So let's focus on CollectionView first, all right? So here, I want to change the identifier of this guy into show image detail. The identifier, save that. All right, go into the photo collection view cell right here. Oh, photos collection view controller. Let's have static. Let's show detail VC. That will be show image detail. Okay, the identifier. Let's have segue. Alright, so we also need another view controller, and that is a detail view controller. Right click, new file, Swift file, detail view controller. Then let's import UI kit. Class is detail view controller. Subclassing UI view controller, right? Here we want to have an image, so var image is UI image. Then we'll want to set the IB outlet, which var is image view, UI image view, just like that, right? So here in view did load, we'll call super view did load. Then now we're going to have image view dot image to be the image. And finally, we do navigation title. Navigation item dot title will be something like a photo. Okay. All right. Go back into main storyboard. Change this custom class into the detail view controller. Oh, you know what? By the way, you can pause the video now and then do it by yourself, and then we'll come back and do together if you like having this experience like a workshop instead of me just showing you everything. All right. Okay, so I hope that you try yourself. And then here, I'm going to continue to do mine. In Photos CollectionView controller, all we have to do now is implement a delegate method called, let's have a mark, called UICollectionView delegate, right? Here we'll have the collection view did select item at index path, and again we need to override. Okay, so did select item at index path, just like in table view we have did select row at index path, right? So here we'll need to get that category that we just select. Select category to be photo categories at index path dot section. Then we do selected. Oh, let's have another kind of like we actually can pass this variable around the center, but I want to have another variable. So here var selected image. Let's have that is UI image like this. Okay. Then in here, I want to have the selected image to be the UI image with the names of category image names and the index path item, like this, so that you can store this around. Then when you perform the segue with identifier is storyboard dots show detail VC segue, the standard you can pass in nil. But again here, you can always having this selected image pass into the sender, and then later on in prepare for segue, you can cast it down as an image, right? So that's okay. Just two different kinds of implementation. All right. Next, let's have a navigation mark, because we want to implement prepare for segue, right? So that we can pass in that image over to the detail view controller. So if the segue dot identifier is the same as storyboard dot show detail VC segue, then let's get the detail VC view controller to be our segue dot destination. We cast that as the detail view controller. Then we'll set the detail VC dot image to be our selected image. Then now all we have to do is run the project, and hopefully it works this time. Alright, I think we set everything here. Good, click here and boom, we have that, right? So if you notice that because when we already set the clip to bounce of this image, you see this? If you have a kind of like an effect that if you didn't select the clip to bounce, this image will be too big, it will go outside of the bounds of the image view. You'll see when you dismiss this, it will still kind of like having the rest of the image showing up. So that's why we want to clip to bounce. Run that once again. Here we go. Click there and we have the image. You can scroll way down here, having these beautiful images showing up.
Alright, I hope that you enjoyed this video to create the photo grid app using CollectionView. I know that sometimes this is the first time that you use CollectionView. That can be like really overwhelming because CollectionView is something totally new. There are new methods and there are a lot of new frameworks and like designing things in a storyboard. I get it. So in the next few days, I will share with you some other things with CollectionView as well, and table view and all those good stuff as well. So if you love this, can you do me two favors? Number one is join the community by subscribing to the channel and turn on the notification bell so that every time that I release a new video tutorial, you'll be the first to know. And number two is join us in this 30 days of Swift challenge for free. So I have 30 days of Swift, meaning that every day I have a new video tutorial all laid out for you and step by step to build a new app or a new feature of an app. And then I have the resources, the images, the source code, the full source code, the starter file, and the complete project for you to use. So if you want to join us, just click the link in the description, enter your name and email to create a profile, and then I will send you all the resources, all the beautiful things. Alright, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. Until next time, I see you. Have a great day and bye bye.